total physical fitness is directed by a physical therapist. So when you have an ankle injury, typically we treat injuries like ankle sprains or ankle fractures. It's very important that as soon as you have the injury, you follow the steps outlined on our website to try to reduce the inflammation and the swelling. Now, you want to initiate movement and exercise as soon as possible. So typically, when you're injured, let's say if it's your left ankle and it hurts, you're going to, without knowing it or not, put less weight through the leg as you're walking, as you're getting up from a chair, as you're climbing a flight of stairs. You know, it hurts, and your body's going to want to protect the ankle joint. So to minimize the effect of the leg not getting as much strengthening just from your daily activities, you want to make sure you start as soon as possible to maintain strength of the leg, to do some strengthening exercises. So I'm going to show you some basic exercise that you can do for that side without aggravating the ankle, because you kind of can't put a lot of weight through the ankle yet. Let's say you just had an ankle sprain 3 days ago. You spent the first 3 days just calming the inflammation down with the outline that we did on our website, and now you want to do some strengthening. So some typical therapy, not my favorite exercises, but they work, sort of non-weight-bearing hip strengthening exercises. You go on your back, you lift up the leg, keeping the stomach tight. This will strengthen the hip in one direction. Then you go to the side, and you lift up this way. Then you go to your back, you lift up this way. And you go to the other side, squeezing the butt muscles, keeping it tight, and you lift up this way. Now, they're the most standard and the easiest to do. They're definitely not my favorite because they're very non-functional. You're not sort of using a lot of muscles the way they normally would be used. A lot of times I like standing versions of some of the hip strengthening exercises if you can do them. You can get an ankle weight, you can use a resistance band, and do sort of these more functional diagonal movement patterns like this, right? Kicking the leg up, putting an ankle weight. You can also have resistance band. Let's say if I had a resistance band tied to this table attached to my ankle, you can kick back like this, keeping your core tight. This is a much better way to strengthen the hip and the knee without sort of putting any weight through the ankle, because they're movement patterns and active patterns that your body typically does. We typically do not, lie on our side, and we typically don't move our body in straight planes. We tend to move in these sort of diagonal type patterns. Okay, so another thing you want to do is you want to initiate strengthening for this leg, the non-injured leg, as soon as possible as well. You might be thinking, well, why do I want to make the leg that's stronger? The reason is when you do tough strengthening for the non-injured leg, indirectly your injured leg gets stronger. It's sort of like activating your nervous system, your brain, and your spinal cord to turn on the muscles. And it can definitely help with the non-injured leg. So I highly recommend sort of doing one-legged sort of squats just from a chair. So you want to keep the injured leg in the air because the ankle hurts. You just sprained it. But using good technique, your back is flat, like a good squat position. You lean forward. Using just the non-injured leg, you stand up and then slowly sit back down. And then stand up and slowly sit back down. So again, you're basically doing a one-legged squat. In terms of sets and reps, it kind of depends on how strong or how weak you are. You basically want to do it to a point where it's pretty fatigued. And it's actually indirectly going to help the recovery of your injured leg, a little inside trick. By doing these things early on, you can really help accelerate the recovery process so you're not left with this residual weakness. A lot of times when we see patients with ankle injuries, whether it be, again, fracture or sprains, because of the resting they had to do to let the ankle heal, they're left with all this weakness from the core all the way down, right? So we're not just treating, the key to a good recovery is not just to treat the ankle, but the entire leg. Once you can start to weight bear, of course you want to do squat, weight bearing type activities, and very importantly, you want to initiate core work as soon as possible. Again, from not putting enough weight on this leg while I was resting, your core gets weak. And not only does it get weak, the pattern of how your brain turns on the muscles is thrown off. And you want to retrain and re-educate the brain to turn on those muscles, those core muscles. Okay, so there's a whole program that we can do. We can show you in physical therapy. If you have any questions, just leave a comment and I will post and